The good news is that they did testing today in a nursing home where there was some concern about a worker who may well have brought it into an aged care facility in southeast Queensland. The good news from the Premier tonight is that all of the people have been tested. They'll be tested again multiple times. All of them have come back negative.
We don't want people to be alarmed, but we do want to take these precautions now, just in case.
The bad is that in New South Wales, they want you to start wearing masks. Now, this is not going to be enforced. You will not be fined if you don't. But the Premier in New South Wales is being pretty open. When you leave your house, obviously you don't have to wear them in the car, but when you go and interact with other people, you need to wear the masks.
Given where we are in the pandemic, given the risk posed from Victoria and given the rate of community transmission in New South Wales, next time from tomorrow when I go grocery shopping, I will be wearing a mask. If I was to catch a train or a bus, I would choose to wear a mask. And if my community had high rates or increasing rates of community transmission, I would be wearing a mask.
And the ugly is where people are playing the politics in and around the pandemic. Perhaps the worst player of it at the moment. And look, Andrews takes some beating, but right now that WA Premier who is trying to play to the lowest common denominator, he's trying to play the lowest card in the deck right now. He's, of course, done his best to try to make sure that it's all about the borders, even though last week at the High Court, the Chief Medical Officer of WA said there was a 1% chance of an increase in cases if you followed what's happened in Queensland, which is to limit people coming from Victoria and New South Wales. If you cut those two states off, only a 1% increase. And again, most people watching in WA go, there he is again, wants the borders to come down. No, I want a system of fairness that makes sure that we keep the people that have the problems out, but we are able to reunite people around the country that don't have the virus issues. But here's McGowan playing politics yet again with the border.
Firstly, can I thank the Prime Minister for his letter and thank the Federal Government for listening to the people of Western Australia and listening to the West Australian Government. We've tried to work throughout the last 6 months very, very cooperatively with the Commonwealth Government, and the Prime Minister and I have worked very cooperatively on most things. Obviously, this was a major point of difference. I'm just very pleased they've listened. They've changed course. I think it was the right decision.
Now, the trade-off, of course, is that the hope now is that they can find some ways to have reasonable exemptions for people who aren't billionaires and mining magnates to be able to make their way around, but to help to reunite some of those FIFO workers. I hope we have some news for you on that a bit later this week.